Hi everyone, my name's Sonia. I own a business called Kiss Marketing and we're a digital marketing agency. And today I want to talk to you about social media. I know it's a really hot topic at the moment and a lot of us tend to get really overwhelmed with what to do. So, first up, it's really great because after this we actually have a session on SEO. So 80% of referral traffic online either comes from Facebook or Google at the moment. So you're going to be covering off on both areas today, which is absolutely fantastic. So I just have a question for everyone before we dive right in. Who here has a sexy business? Yeah? Great. And who has an unsexy business? And who hasn't either? Bit of both? Okay. So what do I mean by that? So a sexy business is about wants. It's about the different products and services that we actually enjoy following on social media. We want to hear from them. So the stylists and the wedding planners and beautiful clothes and accessories, all that fun stuff. The unsexy businesses are more about needs. So often we don't like spending money on it. So it might be plumbing, for example, or a lawyer or the accountant. We know it's necessary, but often we don't feel good about parting with our money. So does that change anyone's answer? So the way you market these two different business types is very, very different. But there is one principle that still remains the same, and that's telling your brand story and building that relationship and trust with people. So I take a bit of a different approach to social media. I'm not about all the really pretty, glamorous stuff. I'm about making sure people know who I am, what my business does, why I started my business, and it works. I have people that have come up to me in the street and said, "Oh my God, I know your dog. I've seen you on Instagram. Oh, how was your trip last week?" And I think, oh my gosh, I don't even know you. And then I remember I'm sharing this on social media. People feel like they get to know me. Has anyone had that happen to them? Yeah. And it's a really good feeling when you get a business inquiry come in and you know that person's already made up their mind because they feel like they have a relationship with you already. So we're going to be talking about that today and how you can build that for your business. So first of all, I didn't put this in the workbook, but I want you to just take some notes because this is going to affect what platforms you actually focus on. So I want you to write down whether or not you have a sexy business or an unsexy business. Think about how long do people research before they buy from you? And are they loyal once they have bought from you? It's a big one. And how old are they? So this is a really, really, really big factor in determining where you're going to put your marketing efforts moving forward. Are they male or female? Now, remembering with this that women actually make up 80% of the buying decisions. And where are your customers? Are you just focusing locally? Are you focusing all over Australia? Or can you service people internationally? So does anyone here sell a product or service that people research for 12 months before buying from them? Yep. What's your business? Great. Yes, so there's a lot of planning involved with that. Who has a product or service that people just make a snap decision? Yep. So a bit of impulse buying. And who has a business where people will look around for a few different providers before making their decision? Yeah, most of us. Is anyone here targeting people under the age of 13? You are? Yep. 13 to 18. 18 to 25. Yep. 25 to 35. Excellent. People usually fall in that 25 to 45 age range when I'm doing these workshops with the people that they are targeting. Anyone doing 65 plus? Okay, interesting. And who is just a local business? Who's international? Excellent. So Mark Zuckerberg, Zucks, as I affectionately call him, is worth $74.2 billion US. That is mind-blowing to me. Yeah. I can't even, can you imagine opening up your bank account? Obviously he doesn't have that much in his bank account, but can you imagine opening up your bank account and seeing that? Insane. And there's a reason. So the technology behind Facebook is just absolutely mind-blowing. There is no other form of advertising out there that can help you achieve and target the people you need to target in the way that you can with Facebook advertising. Okay? And I'm going to go through that in a little bit, but just keep that number in mind. There's a reason they're worth so much money. So Facebook is used monthly by 17 million Australians at the moment. So this is active users. So people that are logging in, I think they judge it by around once a week, but I'm guessing a lot of us log into Facebook and Instagram more than once a week, am I right? This was mind-boggling for me as well. They have 27,000 staff around the world. 10,000 of those staff are engineers, which I'm going to talk to you about in a little bit. So who put up their hands and said their maiden age group was 25 to 39? Yeah, so really interesting. It's the largest demographic that's using Facebook actively at the moment. And the group that's growing fastest is actually the 55 to 65s. So if your target audience are in there, you should probably look at using Facebook advertising or Facebook in a way to market your business to reach them. So Facebook also owns Instagram. Who knew that? So they purchased it in 2012. Back then, wasn't really being widely used. It was just sort of starting to take off. I love Instagram. I'm so addicted to it, as I'm sure a lot of us are. How often are you sitting there watching TV and you find yourself just mindlessly scrolling through Instagram again? It's just a reflex to open up the app, go back to it, refresh, see what's happening, and then the Instagram stories. How often are you sitting there watching something from a business and then you're like, oh, just watching someone drink a coffee or walk their dog. How did this even happen? I don't even know this person. It's so addictive. So we do have a bit of a younger demographic on Instagram. It's biggest between 18 and 29 and definitely skewed towards women. I don't want to go through all these really boring stats for you. Who here actually knows where their audience is hanging out online and feels comfortable with it at the moment? Yep, most of you, great. So you've picked your platforms. Just want a show of hands, whose main platform is Facebook? Instagram, here we go, Pinterest. Great for wedding, foodie, fashion, home decor related businesses. So something interesting about Pinterest, they have just started really pushing their advertising side of things. It has been a platform that hasn't really monetized up until this point. It's taken off in the US massively. So if you are sort of in these industries, just keep an eye on it because there could be some great opportunities for you moving forward as it does grow and develop that advertising platform. Oh my gosh, the algorithm. I feel like this is a question I get asked every single week. It changes so frequently. Who remembers the good old days when you'd open up Instagram and everything was in chronological order? That was so good. So why do we actually see what we see? This is a point I'm really, really passionate about talking about because there are so many gurus and experts out there saying, do this hack and do this trick and you'll be seen on social media. Doesn't work that way. They don't want you to know how to hack the system and what's working and what's not working. They want it to be as fair as possible for people, and they want to make money out of it. So when you hear someone saying, oh, you need to do this and don't do that because you'll affect your reach, a lot of the time that might have been the experience they've had, but it's not necessarily true for you. So Facebook, those 10,000 engineers I mentioned earlier, they have permission. These engineers aren't engineers. They're essentially there to keep us addicted to social media and keep us coming back to the platform. So they have permission to take an audience of 1 million people at any point in time and test different algorithms and different features on those audiences. So you might find one day you open up Facebook and you've got this feature, or Instagram and you've got this feature that you haven't seen before. And you try it out and it works well for you, or you get nowhere with it, and then the next week it's not there anymore before it starts rolling out everywhere else. So I just want you to keep an open mind with this. We don't know exactly what Facebook and Instagram are doing at any point in time with their algorithms. Back in January, I think it was, Instagram actually invited a whole heap of reporters in to just give them a basic brief rundown with how it's working at the moment. And that's the first time they've ever done that, which is really exciting. And it came off the back of the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So they have gone into complete overdrive to try and get their PR sorted, put a good image out there and be really transparent. So that's benefited us because now we sort of have an idea, okay, what can we be doing to make sure people see our content? So it's designed to keep us engaged. So it's going to show the best quality content first. It's based on engagement. So if you have liked, tagged, commented, even shared a post, or even sent a post within Messenger, or engaged with a page in that way, you'll start seeing more of their content. It also looks at what your friends are engaging with as well, and people around you. So the old mentality of scheduling when people are there has totally gone out the window. 2 years ago, I was telling people, all right, you've got to post when people are commuting between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m. and then when people are commuting home and then after dinner. Doesn't matter so much anymore. It's not going to make too much of a difference, so don't stress about it. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention, but you'll notice sometimes when you open up your Instagram feed that you'll see posts that are like 3 or 4 days old now. You'll see posts on Facebook that are months old, things that have gone viral that just keep recirculating again. So if your content is good, don't worry too much about posting at specific times. Anyone getting really confident going live on Facebook or Instagram? Yeah. So, yeah, good. Whenever social media platform like Facebook or Instagram pushes out a new tool, they want people to use it. So they're going to give you top of the algorithm bonus points if you are using their features. So jump on board that whenever there is a new feature coming out and make the most of it before everyone else jumps onto it. And then, yeah, you will be rewarded. So the more you go live, the more non-live content will be shown to your audience as well. So video is still really, really, really important for Facebook. I've been testing a lot on Instagram in terms of just the grid and videos, and I haven't been finding as much success with that. But I'll go through my top tips for that in a moment. And social media is like the Hotel California. You can come anytime you want, but you can never leave. Is anyone here familiar with the Resilience Project? So there's this guy, Hume van Cuylenberg, and he works a lot with schools and mental health for young people. And I went to one of his talks recently, and he was talking about how they're wanting us to become addicted to social media. And a couple of the things he said, I thought, oh man, they're so cheeky. Do you know when you wake up in the morning, Facebook has actually worked out when you're getting up. And they know that if you're lying down when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, you will spend like 20 minutes longer on the platform. So what they do is they'll send through all these notifications just before you wake up. So you wake up in the morning and you've got these notifications. That's why things like birthdays were invented. So those birthday reminders, you'll notice they sort of come in just before you wake up in the morning. Another thing they do as well, which I found so interesting, you know when you go and play the pokies, I hate them, but you press the button, it goes, when you scroll through social media, have you noticed how there's that little circle that's going around? Doesn't need to be there. They can make that content show up instantly. You've already got the notifications for everything, but it's that stimulating that little addiction in your brain. So they're so clever with what they're doing. So here was a video that I came across a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it makes me a little bit teary every time I watch it. And the main point of this is that it's not about you talking about your features and benefits on social media. It's about telling your story and it's about connecting with your audience. And I think this ad does a beautiful, beautiful job of doing that. Hopefully it works for us.
Hi there. Are you Cindy?
Yeah, I am.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. I'm from Teleflora. I have a special delivery from your son, if he really wants you to see.
Oh my gosh. much I love you, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me in my life. The distance between us isn't always easy. It's actually pretty hard sometimes. I still remember the last time we saw each other. It was almost 2 years ago. I was passing through San Diego on my way out to Japan, and you drove 2 hours just to sit down and have coffee with me for 45 minutes, just discussing what's going on in our lives before I had to get on my flight and continue on. I miss you. It's been hard. Growing up, it was just the two of us. You had all the responsibility of raising a young boy into a man that you could be proud of. You gave me so much. I didn't know how much you sacrificed until I was an adult at college, and I learned that you had a dream to become a professional athlete. And then you got pregnant with me, and you had to choose. You knew you couldn't do both, and you gave it up to raise me. To raise me the best way that you knew how. And you instilled in me that sacrifice and that dedication, and you gave me everything that you had. And thank you very much. The discipline, the love, the support, the understanding that you gave me. I think of all the things that you did for me. I look at my children. If I can just do half of what you did, they would be so much better off. You were a guiding light for me, and I've taken everything that you've given me, and I've run with it. Because of you, I stand here today, a father, a husband, a Navy commander, and it's because of you. You showed me how to work and not quit, and have honor, have integrity. I've achieved all these things because of the foundation that you laid, the example that you led. And you always said the reward for hard work well done is the opportunity to do more. Well, you're right. I've done well in the Navy, and I got more hard work ahead of me. And I think it's going to be even harder to see each other. And that's why I wanted to make this Mother's Day so truly special. Above all, Mom, I hope when you look at me, you see the good man that you wanted your little boy to be. I'm proud to call you my mother. I'm proud to be your son. You made me the man that I am today. And I love you with all my heart.
Anyone else have all the feels right now? Always makes me tear up. But notice not once did they talk about their range of flowers. They didn't talk about their delivery times or where they're located or the features and the benefits. They're touching on the emotion and they're connecting with their customers. And that's what we need to learn to do with social media. The number one mistake I see businesses making is that they're just on there to sell and pitch. And what gives us the right to do that? We have no right to do that. We're going to lose people straight away if that's the tact that we're taking. So I'm going to be talking to you today about ways that you can start connecting with your customers and starting small and building those genuine relationships, because that's what it's all about. Social media is like word of mouth on steroids. I am so happy to be here. I've never been to Brisbane before, but I've had 3 clients that I've worked with, some of them for 12 months or more, that have come here today. And we connected on social media. It's an amazing, amazing thing. So forget about trying to hack the algorithms. Think about how you can connect with your customers instead. So My top tips, for doing that. Show your personality. Be human. Ask questions from your followers and your audience and from other businesses and people as well. If you see, I don't know, someone that you want to do business with, comment on one of their posts, ask them what they're talking about, ask them what that product is. Provide an inside look in the day-to-day behind the scenes of your business and start measuring to see what's actually working. So often people just don't look at their numbers. They think, oh, I got a lot of likes on this. But has that resulted in anything? How many people have you reached? Have you actually had comments, or are these bots liking your content? User-generated content is key. So something Eva has been doing amazingly for this event. I'm not sure if you've been watching the Instagram stories, but she's sort of been reposting all of everyone's stories, which is fantastic. So if you can create that movement within your own business and get people to create content for you, half the battle is done. People are already talking about you. Be consistent with your voice. Does anyone follow Smack Bang Designs on Instagram? They just have this beautiful way of communicating with their audience. Their tone of voice, it's really sassy and funny. It's like you're out with a girlfriend having cocktails. So what's your tone of voice when you're speaking to your customers? Love and appreciate your followers. I'm not about getting those big numbers of followers on Instagram. It's all about the engagement. Eva touched on that earlier. But if you can make a difference to a few people, then you know you can make a difference to a larger number of people. So just start and focus small. And have a sense of humor about it. It's only social media. It doesn't have to be so serious. So Instagram. So this is the platform that everyone wants to know about at the moment. And as I mentioned before, there are a lot of gurus out there talking about what you should be doing with hashtags. I'm talking to you about what I do for my clients and what I have found to work at the moment. So when you're posting on Instagram, use up to 30 hashtags. So that's the most that you can use at the moment. It gives you the most chance of being seen, but don't hashtag stuff. So don't go and put a ton of hashtags that aren't relevant to your business or what your post is about on there, because it's just spammy. So I like to break it down. So I even just say to clients sometimes, just get 15. So do 5 location-specific hashtags. So you might go hashtag Brisbane, hashtag whatever suburb you're in. I don't really know Brisbane at all, so I don't know what others are out there, but I'm from a small country town originally, and our radio station actually promotes hashtag This Is The Border. So for my local clients in that area, we always use that hashtag. Then industry-specific hashtags. So you might be a wedding planner, so hashtag wedding planning, hashtag wedding, etc., etc. And then what's happening in your image? Are you having a cup of coffee? Are you working with clients? Are you showing off examples of your work? So if you can find 5 hashtags for each of those, I'll be really, really happy. And if you're a local business, include a tag of your location. So there's been a lot of research done around engagement and what gets the most. And I think you get something like 20% more engagement if you've actually geotagged your location. So if you don't have a physical office, just go Brisbane. A lot of different rails, but I will say this, I'm part of a big network of social media marketers. A lot of them are over in the US, and whenever there's sort of like these debates going on around what's working with hashtags and what's not, we test everything. So there was something going around about 6 months ago that was like, if you put the hashtags in the comments, then you're not going to get as much reach or engagement on it. So we tested it and it wasn't the case. So the answer is it doesn't really matter. And I will say to you with Instagram, it's not all about the hashtags. They're not going to change everything miraculously for you. These are just going to give you the best chance to reach as many people as possible. Instagram stories. So my Instagram stories actually get more reach than my posts do. Is anyone else finding that at the moment? Yeah. So they're massive. I'm sure you've all seen when people take a screenshot of their grid and say, oh my God, guess what I just did? Go see my latest post. Use that as a technique if it drives people back. We only have one opportunity to get people off Instagram with that link. So the more profile visits you can get, the better. It makes it gives you a better indication of how engaged people are, because there's a lot of lurkers on social media. Instagram engagement used to be sky high, as did Facebook engagement back in the day, but we're seeing that decline more and more just because there's so much more competition out there, and Facebook and Instagram want you to pay for that engagement. But don't get caught up in that. Don't be discouraged if you're not getting the likes. Just having a look at how many Instagram story views you're getting a day is a really good start. And don't skip a day. So I had a period in my business where I got so busy and I just wasn't posting on my Instagram stories at all. So I'd gone from having something like 2,000 profile visits a week down to 100 profile visits a week because I wasn't doing my Instagram stories. So I don't know if you've noticed with Instagram stories, the stories of the businesses and people you watch the most will show up first in that line. So if you drop off the face of the planet for 3 months like I did, you essentially go back to that line. So if someone's following 2,000 different businesses and people, it's going to be very hard for you to get that back up there. So be consistent with it. Engagement is really, really, really important. I find that sometimes I won't post on my Instagram for, say, a week or so, but if I'm engaging and I'm connecting with people offline and then continuing that relationship online, that's the best thing that you can do to grow your following in a meaningful way. Like I said, I'm not about those big numbers. It's about having a small but loyal fan base and following, and it will grow from there. So using tools, the Instagram scheduling tool I like the best is called later.com. There is a free version of it. I think you can do up to 30 posts a month, which is more than most of us will need. And it does have some really cool inbuilt features in there. So you can actually craft batches of different hashtags and save them. So that's what I recommend a lot of people go and do. So go and create a group of hashtags for your location, one for your industry, and then other common hashtags that you use as well. And you can just insert them straight away. So really, really, really handy. It also allows you to calculate the best times to post. Again, I don't pay too much attention to this, but it usually tells me about 3 key times a week, and I try and just pop one post in there in those slots if I can. Influencers. Who here works with influencers? Yep. So it's really funny. I have this family member, and she's a mentor of mine as well. She's been in business for a long time, but she's in her 60s, and she thinks that the Australian Financial Review is the Bible. And one of my best friends actually worked for one of Sydney's biggest PR firms, and her main account was Microsoft. And what I didn't realise is that even the Financial Review is not immune to PR. And her main goal for them, that was their top publication they wanted to get into. A lot of the stories that we're reading in those sorts of newspapers, and they do that weekend magazine as well, are actually PR activities. Anyway, so this family member of mine sent me this article from the Financial Review, and it had some title about High Smile and about how they built like millions and millions of dollars like they were generating with this business, and they'd spent zero on advertising. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I've seen them everywhere on Instagram. So I looked into it some more, and I was reading through this article, and in 1 year, I think their turnover was 40 million, and in 1 year they'd spent $22 million on influencers. So to have someone like Kylie Jenner promote your product costs an absolute fortune. So I think a lot of us get really discouraged when we see like these businesses taking off and exploding and talking about how they haven't spent any money on advertising. Where are they spending money elsewhere? Kayla Itzines, who's done the Bikini Body Guide? Just me. I failed at it so many times, it's so hard. I remember when Kayla first started out, and she jumped on Instagram really early on to build her business and her brand, and I just love what they do, and their marketing is so, so clever. But when she first started out, she was just sharing before and afters. I've been watching how their advertising, their marketing has evolved, and I do recommend to go and jump on their website And just pay attention to the ads that you start getting retargeted with. They are pouring so much money into advertising at the moment. So again, another company that it's not all about organic social media. So don't be disheartened if you don't have 1 million followers overnight. Does anyone have any questions on Instagram before we move on to Facebook? Something to pay attention to, especially if you're going to reach out to influencers. If someone has, say, 5,000 followers, but they're following 10,000 accounts, for example, chances are they're using a bot, which is going along and liking and following different accounts. So a lot of people, it's that old thing of follow me and I'll follow you back kind of thing. My thoughts on that, if you're following businesses and people that you care about and are in your industry or you want to do business with one day, or people in your area that you've sort of earmarked as a potential customer that you want to start engaging with, don't stress about it at all. Don't think about it too much, but yeah, it is a good indicator to see whether people are using bots to grow their following. So I'm an absolute lurker on my personal account. I don't do much with it, but I've used my business Instagram account in a way to show people who I am. And I talk about myself. I have pictures of myself on there. I have my name in my profile, like my bio description as well. So and I'm going to touch on this in a little bit, there's this whole theme emerging at the moment around having the hero of the company and showing that personality. So if you're only going to focus on one, focus on your business. Okay, let's go through Facebook quickly because I've got a whole heap of stuff to go through with you. 6 months ago, I really didn't like Facebook. I was finding that the content on there was all those stupid videos and memes and all this stuff that I was just like, this isn't relevant to me at all. I'm not enjoying it. Facebook has really changed now in that they're promoting groups a lot more. Is anyone here active in Facebook groups? Yeah, I love a good Facebook group. Like-minded bitches drinking wine, who's a member of that group. If you're not, go and join because it's absolute gold. And I can guarantee you, if you have a business question, go and do a search in that group because someone would have already asked it before and you'll have input from so many different business owners. It's fantastic. Don't share directly from Instagram all the time. And this is a real pet hate of mine. Do not use hashtags on Facebook. It's been shown that they just don't get as much engagement. And the reason is that when we jump on Facebook, we're wanting to connect with our family and friends. When we see hashtags from businesses, you just feel like you're looking at an ad. It's a real hangover from when Facebook first bought Instagram. They were going to try and integrate the whole search system. It just hasn't worked for them. So just if you are going to post from Instagram and you have hashtags, jump onto your Facebook page and delete them and go and change, if you're tagging other businesses, go and change it so it actually tags the business's Facebook page. Don't leave the @ and their Instagram handle in your Facebook caption. You're not tailoring the content for the platform, and that's one of the most important things that you can do. I'm big on creating higher quality content for Facebook and less often. So 2 to 5 posts a week, and really sharing and engaging with your current clients, your audience. Competitions are fantastic. Just a quick note on competitions though, Facebook is really cracking down at the moment with their terms of use and their policies. So go and check those out before you run an Facebook competition. Technically, you are not allowed to say one like is one entry to win. If you're a small business, yes, you can get away with it and it's a good way to sort of grow your following. But if you are larger, be really wary because I've seen so many accounts shut down from doing this. Doesn't have to be as picture perfect as Instagram because there's no grid. I think that's something really important to remember. My sister-in-law, she actually just launched an amazing business. She's a chiropractor. She's doing float tanks and yoga and all this incredible stuff. And I set up her Facebook and her social media pages for her and she's like, I don't want to post. I want people to see it. I'm nervous. I don't want to put it out there into the world. Don't be. Just get started because you need that content out there to start working out what's working and what's not working. It's not going to be perfect from the beginning. Something Melissa Ambrosini said yesterday was do it once and do it well. I'm the opposite. Get started because chances are When you're first starting your business, you don't know who your target audience is. You don't know who you can serve best. You might think you do. For me, I had this idea in my head when I first started my business of exactly who I'd be working with. 18 months down the track, my ideal customer is very different now to who I thought they were at the beginning. And the people I'm getting engagement from are very different to the people that I thought I would at the beginning. So just start putting content out there and see what works. Don't be scared and go, oh, I don't want anyone to see it. Everyone has to start somewhere. LinkedIn. Who logs on to LinkedIn more than once a week? Yeah. So LinkedIn is the least addictive platform. The average session time on LinkedIn is about 8 minutes. And they count an active user as someone that logs on once a week. So I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. Sometimes I absolutely love it. Sometimes I get on there and I'm like, oh my God, this is just full of people talking about how amazing they are. And it does my head in. So it's best for professional services. And I have really found that business pages on LinkedIn haven't taken off like they really wanted them to when they first introduced the feature. I think it was in 2012. So use it through your personal account. Be strategic with who you make connections with, and follow up. Something Eva said before about it's all in the follow-up. That is so true. So what I did when I first started my business, I connected with all the different types of businesses that I wanted to work with, the business owners that I wanted to work with. And I started tailoring content that would really appeal to them. So writing articles about how they could get leads, or the benefits of marketing this, or sharing client results from similar industries. And then I started running workshops, and I would actually reach out to these business owners and invite them along for free to take that connection offline and start building a relationship with them. So don't be scared to connect with business owners and people if you are in the B2B industry that you would really love to work with, and start building that connection. Send them a message. Tell them you really love what they're doing. Don't pitch to them straight up. Just start that conversation. And encourage recommendations. So I got so much about what Eva was saying about asking for referrals, something that I feel really uncomfortable doing normally, but what I do ask for when I finish working with someone are recommendations and testimonials. So what I've actually created, does everyone use Canva? Yep. So what I've created in Canva is just a 2-page A4 document that has screenshots and hyperlinks showing people step by step, here's how you can leave me a review on Facebook, here's how you can leave me a recommendation on LinkedIn, and here's how you can leave me a review on Google. And I just go through and I have arrows and circles and screenshots, and those links, it makes it stupid simple for them. So I recommend you start doing that because, and we're going to, well, I'm not, but next session on SEO that will be touched on is that social media and the engagement and the recommendations and what people are saying about you can actually influence how you appear on Google and your ranking as well. Okay, I just have so much to cover. I'm just pulling out the important parts for you guys. So what I was saying before with that really emotional video, the mistake that people make is they go in for that right hook and that sale and that pitch straight away on social media. So there's this book that I want you all to read. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vee. It's amazing. It was written like 6 years ago, but it is still so relevant. So whenever you're scheduling out your content for social media, I want you to think about it this way. Have 3 or 4 jabs, which are the pieces of content where you add value, you show behind the scenes, you engage, you celebrate someone else, you celebrate a client's win. It's content that people actually want to see, that they don't feel like they're being pitched or sold to in before you go in and you ask for that sale. So have 3 or 4 of those kind of posts to every pitchy or salesy post that you do. So there was this vet actually came along to one of my workshops about 18 months ago, and I always go and follow everyone afterwards after our social media for small business workshops just to see what people have taken away from it and what they're implementing. And I've been following these guys. Go check them out. They're doing a really great job. Just some cute pictures of some animals, Their language is fantastic. So Gorgeous Fizzy was in for surgery yesterday and enjoyed a nice recovery session out in the sunny garden. Such a nuzzly face. We loved having you, Fizzy. They're showing their personality. They're showing their care. They're not talking about how great they are on surgery for animals. They're not talking about any of that. They're just showing that they're real humans behind the business. And then they go in with their right hook, which I love. So something I came across in a conference about 3 weeks ago that I've never actually been able to articulate very well myself. So I'm going to try and sort of regurgitate what I learnt because it was a really beautiful way of putting it. But the concept of red brain and green brain storytelling. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. I've got a couple of nodding heads. But essentially the red brain is the logic. And it wants the products and the features and the benefits and the price and all of that good stuff. And that's what we tend to go for straight away as business owners. We just want to say, this is it, these are the facts, come buy from me. The green brain is the emotional side of things, and that's what we saw with that video earlier. And the secret to having a really good right hook is having that combination of the red brain and the green brain. So these guys have done it beautifully. Toothy Tuesday. Has a dentist ever taken x-rays of your teeth? Did you know that there is also we also have dental radiology for pets, blah, 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 blah. But reading that information and what they've put out there, they're giving you the facts and the information. They've already built your trust. You know they care about your pets. And they've just made it sort of lighthearted and interesting, and they've shown some different graphics there. So it's not rocket science, but there is a real skill and an art to putting those right hooks together and doing those pitchy posts. So the question before we had about whether you run your personal or your business page for Instagram and social media. What we're seeing at the moment is that there's a real trend for these massive CEOs who are sort of stepping out from behind their logo and their business name and creating almost like a brand for themselves. So I recommend you go and check out Showpo and see what Jane Lou's doing in terms of her Instagram at the moment. So I don't shop with Showpo. I'm not their target market, but she's doing such an amazing job with her marketing. Her Instagram handle is The Lazy CEO. And she's showing behind the scenes her life, and what she's doing is really building it up so they're attracting the right kind of team members and the right type of clients and customers that they want as well through her personal Instagram. We all know Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. So these people aren't hiding anymore, and we can't either. So I think a lot of the time we think, oh, we have to be really, really professional and not show much personality and just be, you know, another business. Doesn't work like that. I feel like we have a real strength being small businesses in that we almost have permission to go and do that. So let people know who you are. Don't try and be everywhere. So my recommendation is just picking 1 or 2 platforms and sticking with them. And you might use different platforms in different ways. So for me, Instagram's my main platform. I love it. But I use Facebook ads for lead generation and marketing my events. So I'm not focusing on building a following on Facebook, but I know that I can target my Instagram followers. I can target my mailing list through my Facebook advertising. So work out what your goals are and pick your platforms for that. And here's the man himself, Gary Vee. I think his message in this video is really, really important. It's about respecting your audience and what they're on the platform for. So some tools and hacks. So for scheduling tools, later.com was what I mentioned before for Instagram. For everything else, I love Buffer because it actually gives you the ability to find content online and just add it straight to your queue automatically, and you can repost things from months ago that got good results, and they have some fantastic analytics in there as well. Free images. I am having a love affair with unsplash.com at the moment. They do unstocky stock photos, which are fantastic. Don't rely on stock photos though. go and have a photo shoot. There's a company, I think they should be in Brisbane, called Snapper, snappr.com. Really, really affordable photography. So you can get someone in even just for an hour just to go and do some photos of you. Really, really cheap. And I do that every 6 to 12 months, just so I have a bank of photos there that I can use and I can repurpose. Paid images, hotstock.com, I don't know if it's still called that, but they've got some beautiful images for women in business, which is great. And then Shutterstock as well, which is the old classic. There are only 3 ways to grow a business. So 1, increase the number of paying customers. Increase the average transaction value with those customers that you already have, or increase the frequency with which your current customers buy from you. So 3 different ways. So I'm sure we've all heard about how it's actually the cheapest to get repeat business or loyal customers than it is to get a new customer. So whenever asked me to put together a bit of a presentation touching on a marketing plan, I went, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to come up with like an Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to have like this formula and schedule and all this stuff. And that's not how I work. It's not how my brain works. And it's not something that's going to be suitable for every single business. So what I'm going to take you through now is the customer buying process and how it's changed, especially with the event of these digital platforms coming into play. So actually, just quickly, so this family member of mine who told me about the High Smile article and also told me that Facebook was dying and my profession was dead once the whole Cambridge Analytica thing happened. She actually sent me a really great message last night, just with some observations that she'd made around business and what she's been building. And I think this is going to play into how you actually market your business from this point on. There's a real difference between repeat business and loyalty business. So repeat business comes in when it's a big factor on price and you're running specials and people buying from you over and over because it's convenient and they know you. Then you've got loyalty, which is different in that even if another competitor pops up that's cheaper or has a convenient online booking system, these loyal customers will keep coming back to you because they love who you are as a person, they love your philosophy, they love what you stand for. Our goal really is for you to build a loyal customer base, not a repeat customer base, because those people are fickle and you're going to be constantly turning your wheels trying to add more discounts and promotions to get them to come back. We don't want to be stuck in that cycle. Because, and what I say, there's this agency in Melbourne and I love what they do, but their focus is really on direct response marketing. So essentially they set up advertising and lead generation for businesses. But the thing is, once that advertising stops, and they don't have any more money to, say, put into that advertising, that business dries up. So you need to have those relationships. And I feel like this is a massive theme for this weekend. Relationships are key with everything you do with your business and your marketing. Because when that money dries up and you can't put any more into direct response marketing, you need to fall back onto those relationships. So this is when I was at uni, this is what they sort of taught us in terms of how people go through the buying process and the current marketing funnel. So you've got your market potential. So it might be women who have just had kids, for example. So that's the awareness stage of things. So this is your total market. You've then got people that go, oh yeah, I'm interested in what you're doing. Then there's people that go, oh, I want a quote. And then you've got the people that turn from a quote into a customer. So they go through this funnel process. It's all very linear and straightforward. But reality is that people often don't buy like that. How often do we see something and go, I'm an R about it? We compare different providers. We decide we don't need it. Then we decide we want it again. We might reach out for a quote. We might go with someone else. We just don't work in that way. So the new funnel is full of twists and turns. And these diagrams are great, but I'm going to take you through an example of how it actually works, because I'm sure a lot of you looking at this going, oh yeah, that's great, whatever. So let's talk about Karen. Karen wants a new kitchen because she is so sick of the pots falling onto her head and she has no storage. So what does Karen do? She logs onto Pinterest and Instagram to get ideas for kitchen organisation, and she searches the hashtag on Instagram as well, organised kitchen design. So Karen's going through that awareness stage. So she's collecting screenshots, she's pinning all of these different kitchens, and she starts having a Google around to see who could actually provide this service for her online. So she's gone into that consideration stage of the funnel. But then she becomes really overwhelmed. She doesn't know who to go to. So she bounces back up into that awareness stage and she just starts asking around for recommendations. So she might call up her friends who recently renovated. She might put a call out onto Facebook. We've all seen those people that are like, "Hi guys, I'm looking for a plumber. Does anyone know a good one?" Those kind of posts. And then she heads back to Google again. So Karen's jumping around all over the place at the moment. And this could take her 6 to 12 months. This is a massive purchase. So eventually she finds someone who she actually pinned their pin on Pinterest like 6 months ago. Or she might have taken a screenshot of one of the remodels they did 6 months ago and didn't realise that they were local. She finally reaches out to someone because she really loves what they're about. She loves their website. She loves their beautiful content, and someone has recommended that she go and talk to them. So she asks for a quote. So she meets with them. She really enjoys what she has to hear. She feels like they will do a great job for her. And the price is something that she can afford at the moment. So she purchases. But the buying journey doesn't end here. And this is what I think we all need to focus on so much more. We all go, how can I get more leads? But like I said before, it's cheapest to get people coming back to you and becoming loyal fans. So we all need to work on this loyalty loop. So Karen then documents the entire experience on Instagram. So I've got a friend at the moment who's building a house and she's created an Instagram for it. It's called The First Build. Go check her out. And she's been blogging and talking about the company, and they're not paying her to do this. But the following she has built with it is just blows my mind. People are so engaged and interested in learning firsthand how people are actually going through this process. So she is a raving fan for this company. She then talks to her friends about it as well. She has her friends over for dinner. They look at her kitchen and go, "Oh my God, it's amazing." 2 years later, her master bedroom is destroyed. And she does not bother going through all that research again. She just goes straight back to that same company and does business with them because she had such a great experience. So the idea that we can push people through this funnel is where a lot of us come undone with our marketing plans. We need to be looking at how we're touching the different touch points, every step of the way when you are crafting your marketing plans. So I just want to start quickly, guys. If you could just have a think about your customer's current journey. Where are they researching and what are they doing before they need you? And where are they looking? Who are they talking to? Are they going to your website? Are they going to Google? Are they going to social media? And think offline as well. You can't rely just on digital to grow your business. You need to be thinking about what activities and relationships you can be building offline, like Eva mentioned earlier. So just take a minute and go through these questions. Okay, so while you're doing that, some things might have come to mind for you around whether you're addressing every part of the funnel at the moment. Are you just focusing on that awareness stage where you're just putting posts out onto social media and you're not actually progressing that sale? You're not progressing that buyer journey at all? I think when you can sort of combine the two ideas with the old funnel and the new funnel and make sure you're covering up on each of those points from the brand awareness stage right down to that loyalty loop, that's when you'll see a really successful business that grows. So who here is just focusing on the top of funnel but not really starting to see those sales come through at the moment? So probably a lot of you when you're just starting out in business. Yeah, and that's because this is what we see day in, day out. We see companies posting on social media and blogging and providing so much value, and they're putting in so much work up front, which is important because this is going to be your biggest audience and only a few will actually trickle down into sales. But you need to work out a way to move them to that next step into the middle of the funnel. So does anyone have any great techniques that they're using at the moment to move people from being an Instagram follower or Facebook follower or someone on your mailing list into the middle of the funnel? All right, so I'll talk about my business. A great lead tool for me is, so I focus on social media a lot, but I run a lot of workshops. So that's how I progress people. So then they come and see me, we have a chat face to face, they hear my stories and my philosophy around social media, and they get a ton of value out of these workshops. And I always have inquiries afterwards where people just go, oh my God, there's so much to it. I don't have time. I trust you and I know you can give me a quote. So thinking about how you can move people through each of those steps. And then for the bottom of the funnel, what can you do to make sure that people have had an amazing experience, that they want to tell people about you? It's about asking for those referrals, getting those recommendations. If you sell a high ticket product or service, is there some sort of gift that you can give people after they've finished working with you? So a real estate agency I used to work with used to send this beautiful hamper to new home buyers and just say, thank you for working with us. We've enjoyed it so much. Enjoy your new home, enjoy your life, etc. And that would do two things. One, they'd feel amazing about it and they'd tell all their friends about the great experience they had with a real estate agent. And two, these people would post on social media about it. So give them a reason to talk about you. And I think that's a really important point. I mean, with that old funnel, we're seeing step 1, step 2, step 3. But as you can see with the new funnel, it's moving around a lot. People are jumping around. So if you can introduce, I guess, that loyalty loop halfway through the process, like you were doing, you'll probably see more success with it. So start getting creative and start looking at what other businesses sort of in your space are doing with this as well. Go beyond just their social media pages. How are they enticing people to get a quote from them, for example? Looking at all the touch points. If your website is slow and it's really hard for people to reach out to you, you're not going to get past that brand awareness stage. So for me, for example, recently I actually changed my website from being contact us to get a quote. And all of a sudden my inquiries just went through the roof. People want to be told exactly how they can go to that next step with you. Make it stupid simple for them. So just to recap, pick your 2 social media channels and start building relationships. Work out how you can tell your brand story and use emotion with it. Don't just focus on pitching your products and services. Go and read Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vee. And go home. I know that I've just thrown a ton of information at you. I walked out of here yesterday with a bit of a headache going, oh, there's so much I want to implement. But go away and start thinking about your customer's journey and all of your different touch points and form your marketing plan from that. And you can't implement everything within a week. It's going to be something that's going to be continuous. There's going to be new platforms and tools popping up all the time. So you've just got to keep working at it and focus on how you can please the customers you have at the moment, because referrals are the best way to grow your business.
Thanks so much, Sonia. She's come all the way from Melbourne, so thank you so much for being here.